The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi, good evening, and it's Christine Joanna Hart. It's Valkyries at Revolution Radio, and in London, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. I've got a fascinating guest with me tonight, and he is talking from Berlin in Germany, and I know a lot of you have been following him for a long, long time, and a lot of you were really upset when he seemed to vanish off the scene, and he's back now. And I'm very honoured to have him on my show, so I'll just bring him on straight away rather than waffling on. Harald, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening, everybody.
It's lovely to hear from you. You've got that lovely soft-spoken voice. I remember when I such a contrast from mine. I remember when I first heard you speaking. It's just so hypnotic that you tend to just listen to everything you're saying because it's just lovely. Your energy is just amazing. You've got this amazing soft energy that's just lovely to tune into.
I hear this for the first time. Most of the time people complain that it's only a trick, that I speak here not loud enough to force people to listen to me. That is what I heard before.
Oh,
but of course I'm happy if people sense it as soft and loving.
It is soft and loving. It's really soft and loving. And your whole face and your energy and your eyes, you just give off that. So you just automatically tune into what you're saying because you think, oh, that must come from a good place. And I'm positive it's not a trick because I do my own intuition is pretty damn good, if I say so myself. So lovely to have you on. You did a load of interviews there, and then you appeared to kind of vanish for a while.
Yes, I pulled back for a while for different reasons. One was that I kind of got stuck on topics. And I started repeating myself from show to show and lecture to lecture. And there was not really new stuff coming on top of what I already had to say. And it's not that it got boring, but I knew that this cannot go on forever like this. So I decided to try to go more into the spiritual depth of the things. And this meant to work with myself for a while, which meant to try to completely reconquer the unconscious. And learn to be fully empathic again. And that took a while because it's not the normal state of a human on this planet to be fully conscious and empathic. So I wasn't as well. I had like here and there possibilities that maybe other people didn't have, but far away from possibilities. So it took like 9 months to get where we wanted to get, or where I wanted to get. And now there is more to tell and more to share and more to inspire to. So I can be online again for the next year, maybe.
Excellent. How did you open yourself up and your unconscious and your feelings? How did you work on that?
Me and my girlfriend, or my girlfriend and myself, we had, for half a year, we had guidance by somebody that appeared to be very supportive, and it was supportive for at least for the first month, who already had this state of mind or spirit to be completely clear. And so that was for the first half of the time or of the process, it was external help. At a certain point, we realized that it's possible to work with yourself. When you reach a certain point of awareness, it's possible to grab a point within oneself where it's possible to make decisions that simply count. Like you pull yourself into your heart and you say, I feel my pain. And this is what immediately happens. You do feel your pain. And if it was subconscious before, it becomes conscious. So at a certain point, it becomes possible to reconquer whatever got lost just by pulling yourself into the heart and deciding to do so. And it's an extremely powerful tool. Everybody can use it. Everybody has it within himself. And it really does miracles. And the other half is basically honesty, because whatever is connected to unconscious stuff, basically there is a hidden profit from this. Mainly pushing your ego with lies that you do not admit to yourself. So the second half is being open to admit that there are fishy parts within everyone and within yourself, and just to decide to let go from that fishy part. Like speaking about myself, I very hardly try to be 100% heart-directed or heart-driven. And I still had this stupid scientific mind that, like an addiction, was always pulling me into scientific jigsaw puzzles that I try to solve. And I tried to get rid of the habit just for the sake of my heart, and I couldn't. And at a certain point, I decided to take it the other way around, to just give way to this addiction, to find out why I am addicted in this way. And then I had to realize that I had the tendency to solve a scientific jigsaw puzzle whenever I felt insecure about emotional stuff. Just a way to hide from myself, or to enter a field where success is guaranteed, just not to feel the insecurity. And this is kind of the type of fishy things everyone is carrying around with himself, or dealing with authorities. I always was extremely arrogant against authorities. Like policemen, I used to laugh in their faces, driving them mad. And just by using a simple trick, if you have somebody that is in power to really harm you, you pick out one aspect where you are superior, concentrate on this one aspect, and then laugh in his face and try to turn around the game. And you can use it as a technique if you get in trouble with policemen, and it might be a good tactic to handle a situation. But if it's just like an unconscious tool to put an end to this hopeless feeling of being a victim, then it's just based on a big lie, and it doesn't help and doesn't lead you anywhere. So this is basically. Part of the work is trying to find out how your mind works and what tricks he's using to make the ego feel better, and just clear out all that shit out of your head just by deciding I'm not doing this anymore. So this was most of the work, like getting rid of bad habits. And at a certain point, things clear up, and at the end of the game, I think everyone can focus on a state of mind where you have yourself that can move around, that can be located in your heart, that can be located in your mental center in the brain where you think logically, that can be located in the center where the brain is producing musical stuff and beautiful things. So basically there are 3 points to focus on. Two are fixed thought and music, and one is moving around, and this is actually yourself or your higher self. And this is kind of a state of mind that is quite interesting, because it's giving you full clarity about what you are and what you do. And that was basically the state I was trying to come into. And the beauty about it, once you have this clarity within yourself and start to give just give place and room for empathy, you can feel basically the entire setup of the person you are facing. You can feel his consciousness and you can feel his subconsciousness, because your own subconsciousness then is cleared, so it can resonate and you consciously receive what is still unconscious in the other one. So this becomes a very powerful tool to understand other humans and, if possible, to help them out to clear their subconsciousness from all the fishy things that they have inside.
So that sounds excellent. Where can the rest of us go? Is there somewhere where we can all go and get that done? Because that sounds amazing.
Basically, it's time and effort and decision. Most of the work I did by closing myself into a room, not eating and drinking for 3 days, not eating for 12 days, and still staying for the rest of the month without any contact to the outer world. I could afford to take 1 month off. I don't know if everybody else can do so, but this is effort. It is deciding I am taking care of myself now, and this takes time. Because if you want to find out about an addiction of yourself, first you need to run out of energy, because then kind of the trick you play with yourself starts popping up, trying to re-energize you in the fishy way. And then you just need to observe your own mind trying to in fantasies, grab the situations where you used to feed on. And then it's possible to analyze and understand how your mind was running. As long as you just watch TV in the evening, cook your meals, talk with your friends, and then just live a life in the outer world, you will never be able to sear this in this kind of clarity. So it needs a kind of isolation from the outer world to really see through things. That is one part. Yeah.
Do you think if you carry on living outer directed, watch TV, meet with your friends and live a life like that you can get to old age and you can waste your life, do you think?
Good question. In a way, I think everything at the moment on this planet is so distorted that we are all wasting our life. I mean, at the end of the day, we need this time of waking up, and we need to waste time to realize that we are wasting time to gather the energy, maybe to wake up. But for most of the humans at the moment, I find this planet extremely creepy. This is a zombie planet in a way. And just if you look at what a human could be, just physically, if you take the human blueprint of a human body, this is pure beauty. Go into the local supermarket and just observe people. This is somewhere between Frankenstein and zombie planet. And people are not aware of it because we all got used to this funny state of health that things brought us into. And it's not only health, it's not only the body, it's also the mind that is in the same distorted condition. So yes, people in this state are killing themselves, and this is worse than wasting your life.
Yeah, that's true. We live very outer directed. So did you, when you went into isolation, did you take your girlfriend or was it just completely just you?
No, we separated for that month. I saw her 3 times for a minute during these days.
And have you written a book about this? Is there something that if we want to do it, we can follow, or no?
No. On one hand, this is a very individual path. There are certain things that can be derived from it on an abstract level, and this is what I'm willing to share. I think everyone needs to find out the best possible way to integrate the possibilities into his own life. It must not be full pulling back from life for a month. It can be an hour every day, like meditation. It can be 3 days being alone. It depends how messed up one is, and how it depends how long it takes to find out what needs to be found out. The most important thing I really can share is first exercise, observe yourself and find the center moving. Locate yourself either within your body. You can be identified with your head region, you can be identified with your heart, or you can hover in the field, like most of the people are connected to ADS, ADHS, Asperger, autism. They're hovering around in the fields most of the time, so they're not even located within their body. But we do have these 3 natural positions: heart, mind, and field. And the first thing to do if you want to find yourself is find yourself. Where are you? Are you in your head? Then actually you are identified with your ego, which is a really bad state to be. Are you in your heart, or are you moving around? Locate yourself, first exercise. Then try to control the location you are at. Learn to pull yourself into the heart region and act from there. And this is basically the only thing that is necessary to do miracles, to be able to pull yourself into the heart, because there you can just decide. You can decide to feel again. And these are the steps it needs to come back to full consciousness. The things that we need to fight for is to reconquer our emotions, because this is what got lost.
Yeah, you sound a bit like Arthur Janov. Have you read his book, The Feeling Child, and some of the primal scream about getting into your feelings and getting a lot of the stuff that's blocked in the unconscious and making the unconscious conscious, which is what you're saying, and that the fact that we've got a lot of feelings frozen in our bodies, and to kind of, get in touch with it. And
It's nice to hear that other people agree with me, but no, I haven't read him.
Yes, he does. It's the same type of thing. I went out to Los Angeles to do that very therapy, which they still do it, and they basically have padded cells, and you go in and spend time alone, and they kind of push you into your feelings, and you kind of get them out, and it can be quite distorting, actually. The whole. I remember doing a session, just walking down the street and thinking, whoa, hang on, who am I? Your consciousness can get a bit lost, because it's been too used to gripping onto certain things to find its identity, hasn't it?
My heavy points were at different places. The heavy points that I found difficult to go through were we do have this kind of moral hovering above everything. And if you go into details, you find out that actually moral is about positions in games. We have this beautiful victim, perpetrator, savior game that most of the people are playing in one or the other position. And the moment you go deeper inside yourself, you will realize that basically part of the lessons we are learning on this planet is to swap positions within this game and to understand this game or these games from all different points of views. So just coming back to myself, I used to feel myself either in the victim role at times or in the savior role. Oh. And if you start to reconquer your subconscious parts, you realize that actually this is happening, or you're living these things during this lifetime, because in former lifetimes you have played the perpetrator role. Oh. So lots of things that happens was that memory came up from lifetimes where I was the bad guy playing the same games I'm now fighting on the light side, and then you need to realize that actually it is about understanding the game and letting go from a gaming addiction. And this is something completely else than to kind of push your ego by identifying with the savior role. And it gives
by identifying what, Harold? By identifying
with the savior role of the game. You have three positions: victim, perpetrator, and savior. Uh-huh. And I was trying to play my life on the savior bit of the game. Being in the illusion that I would be in the position to end the game. Mm. But you end a game by ending the game, not by playing a role within it. And that was really hard to digest. That actually the savior is the most ugly position in the game, because he's keeping both the victim and the perpetrator from learning.
That's interesting.
It's heavy to digest, because we are all 100% identified with our roles. And this is what awakening is about, to let go from role model.
You've gone quiet. Sorry. Are you still there? Harold, are you still there? It's gone quiet. Patrick? Is that me?
Patrick?
No, he's back now. You know, it's been doing that a little bit lately. It'll drop for about 20 seconds and it comes back, and I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Sure.
Harold, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That's interesting, isn't it? Because you were, when you first appeared on the scene, you were looking at, you were lecturing about AI and black goo and that kind of stuff. Have you stopped? Was that you trying to save the planet and save everybody?
I'm still forwarding the findings, the scientific findings, the knowledge about at what state of the game we actually are, because this is still reality. This is still happening. Oh. And we do have a kind of hidden war between different energetic agendas on this planet. And most of the people are not even aware that this war is happening, and they position themselves somewhere in the game without even knowing which part they are supporting.
May I break in for a second, please? Joanna, there's a call trying to come in. I don't know if you want to take calls or not. I know who this person is. They're very nice, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, no, not at the moment. Maybe
later.
Okay,
all right.
Thanks, Patrick.
Okay, Suzanne, we're not taking calls right now. Perhaps later in the show.
Sorry, carry on,
She'd
Harold.
hear me say that. That's why.
That's okay. So, sorry, carry on, Harold, about the war between different factions.
And I mean, we all do know good and evil. Kind of, this is in the fairy tales. We grew up with it, and we have a kind of emotional connection to the fight between good and evil. But there is a third agenda that I would call the control agenda, that tries to be something in between, and to at first attempt to rescue us from becoming evil, with a price that we are fully controlled and we do not make any valid decisions anymore. And this control agenda, when it's played by individuals, tends to turn even more evil than the evil side would have been if everybody would just decide to be evil. And this is the agenda we are facing today on this planet. This is what we call transhumanism, or what they call themselves. It's just the idea of manufacturing artificial interfaces between computer and human. And if they make advertisement for themselves, they say things like to give everybody free mental access to Google 24 hours a day, kind of upgrading the human with abilities of the machine. But if you look into realities of the technologies they develop and utilize, it's the opposite. It is giving the machine access to the human to control the human. And this is an agenda that is extremely highly developed technology-wise, and it is already in place, and we don't even realize. So this is one of the things that I still try to point out, to make people realize that somebody is messing around with our biology without asking for permission. And this is A, illegal, B, it is completely subject to this control agenda, so it is against our free will, and it takes away our free will if we give way for this. And it is destroying nature, because most of the particles used for these technological concepts are extremely artificial and interfere especially with the biophoton exchange in biology. So the trees of the forests are dying, the harvests are dying. Basically, we're killing the entire biosphere of the planet with the attempt to get humans under control. And this is something I don't want to see happening on this planet. It would be just a stupid, sad story run by stupid entities that think they can reach anything by control. But control leads to death and to nothing else. And I don't want to see humanity dying this way and the planet dying this way.
Who do you think these entities are? Because there seems to be so many different characters. I'm not sure that I believe that there are so many characters, and I tend to think there's just one. I mean, what are your views on that, about who else is?
It's pretty simple, and of course it's not simple. It's pretty complex. But if you know the history, it is simple in the sense of being logical. We do have a number of bloodlines on this planet who run this agenda, who are connected to black magic rituals, who have the knowledge how to administer a biosphere, not with love, but with pain and torture energies. This is coming all out of the historical development of black magic. And these bloodline families, they used to run the kingdoms all over the world, being as bloodlines in these king and queen and prince and princess roles. And at a certain point, they decided to stop playing kings and queens, and they decided to hand over control to money as a control agenda. So we do have this foundation of the Tavistock Institute in 1911 in Great Britain to kickstart World War I. With a newly invented technology or system of propaganda. They invented the term and the technique, Tavistock. And Tavistock then went to the United States in the 30s, and all the big agencies are Tavistock children. And what they started with propaganda, kind of traditional mind control, went chemical after World War II. So the agency, founded and guided by Tavistock, started to develop the chemical components of transhumanistic technologies to support mind control with little agents that infiltrate our biology. This started with simple things like fluoride. Fluoride was first used by the Nazis in World War II in Germany to conquer territories quiet, because it makes dull and stupid. Now we have it in toothpaste and drinking water in many places all over the world. This is part of this chemical agenda. And they managed to tell us it's healthy. It's keeping healthy teeth. It's completely stupid. This is a chemical warfare thing.
What other chemicals do they use besides the fluoride?
Yeah, coming from environmental analysis. I don't know what they invented. I just can analyze what of this is airborne. And if you check what is airborne, we have the possibility to find 3 different generations of transhumanistic technologies. One is based on barium, strontium, titanate, piezo nanocrystals. These are like little electromagnetic receivers that transform radio signals into electrical impulses within the body. And to connect them to us, we need two more things. We need a lack of copper to dissolve our nervous system, and mercury to kind of open the nervous system to be attacked by this lack of copper. So the mercury is stripping the nerve, the lack of copper is putting it into pieces, and then the nervous system recombines with other metals like barium and strontium, regrowing a ferromagnetic nervous system that connects to these piezo crystals. And this is the first concept of a self-assembling nanobot that you can find in the literature. And this is exactly what was tested in Great Britain, causing the mad cow disease. They had these mandatory vaccinations, stripping the copper out of the veins of the cows. So they had this condition of a lack of copper. Mercury was as well in the vaccines, and the piezo crystals were airborne from military projects. And the result was they overdid it, and the cows got mad. But then they knew the right dose to keep biological beings in a state of having this interface working without going completely mad, just a bit. And the just a bit is what we call today old age disease.
Oh, really? Like Alzheimer's and that kind of stuff?
Alzheimer, Parkinson, Creutzfeldt-Jakob actually is the 100% identical disease to mad cow disease, just for humans. We have ALS, and what kind of disease develops depends on the quality of heavy metals available. If you have a lot of lead in the system, you get ALS. If you have mangan in the system, you get Parkinson. If you have whatever aluminum in the system, you get Alzheimer and dementia. So, but the basis is all out of this source. And this, on one hand, it's extremely ugly and disturbing. On the other hand, once you find an initial reason for a disease, it becomes very easy to heal it. So the logical step is take the knowledge, create a remedy, and help people to get out of the trap. And this is basically what we did. And yes, so it was always the condition to speak out in public. If you find a problem, find the solution first and then speak out.
Yes, you're right.
Because if you're not doing so, you just scare people to death, and they will turn away from the truth because there's no solution. And like this, it's easy. We do have the solution. We can kind of focus on the problem and get out of the mess on individual level. And the sad thing about this individual thing is that only a few are listening now. And the beautiful thing is nothing can come in between. Whoever is listening to the truth has the possibility to decide, okay, I accept this as a truth. It sounds logical. I can find the scientific proof in environmental monitoring. The guy sounds kind of logical. So let's go for the solution. And nobody can get in between there.
So how are they giving them to us? They're just coming through the air, basically, or chemtrails or that kind of thing?
Yes, it's basically what we observe as chemtrailing, but there are many different ways of chemtrailing. The piezo crystals, for example, are created in spray pyrolysis within the jet engines. So you just give an additive to the fuel, weak metal salts, and then they are kind of within the little fuel droplets burning in the engine, and every fuel droplet burning is creating one nanoparticle. This is how they make the piezo crystals. Other components need to be sprayed dry or wet or whatever. So there are many, many different ways to get the substances into the environment.
And what do we do? I mean, do we just put spirulina in our smoothies and we're okay?
Kind of, yes. Spirulina is it was a good remedy when the problems still were kind of natural and homemade. The problems that we do have is that basically the entire nutrition we get, the culture of eating, actually is part of this black magic agenda. If you look at the biology of humans, we are not supposed to eat meat. We have long lower intestines. We have like 25, 30 meters of lower intestines. Every animal that is living from meat on this planet has a short lower intestines, like half a meter if you look at a dog. So from the biology, we have this possibility to digest meat in case we are starving. Then the body takes it in and gets along with it. But in peaceful times, we are not supposed to eat other animals. It's not our biology, just simple as it is. And if you look where it comes from blood and fire sacrifice. We do eat meat because this started as a black magic ritual. And this black magic ritual was all about utilizing the biophoton bursts of dying animal to get control over other beings, or to feed demons, or whatever they were doing back then. This was about utilizing painful energies to drive the black magic agenda. And this actually is what we still do today. The entire industry that is torturing and killing billions of animals to death is intentionally creating huge amounts of torture energy that are utilized by the black magic community to administer this biosphere. So there's something wrong at the very basis. If you look into industrial agriculture, we are completely depleting our soils. And the food we grow on industrial soils are completely free of nutrients, like minerals and everything that the body, vitamins, everything the body needs. If you compare ecologically grown banana to a supermarket banana, the ratio is 1 to 200 in nutrients. And this is kind of part of this biological concept of transhumanism, that we need to be undernourished to accept the poisonous minerals and metals that are necessary to build up the transhumanistic nanobots and networks within the body. So the very first thing is to start to live healthy. And there's some beauty about living healthy, because at the same way you cure yourself, you cure the part of the planet you are responsible for. Because if you buy ecologically grown food, this food will be grown ecologically, and there will be no poisoning of the soils anymore. And this is kind of just a question where we direct our money to. We can go buy in the supermarket, and we are responsible for farmers depleting soils and destroying the planet. We can go to a shop to buy ecologically grown food, and then we direct our money to the ecological farmer that is taking care of the soil, and that will make this planet survive. And this is democracy as beautiful as it can be. And there's no excuse. There is no excuse. This is our responsibility, and responsibility means responsibility. We are able to respond. So whoever heard this, understood this, and still goes buy and eat crap, he did not respond according to his abilities. And this is sad. Because I know it will happen with many, many people listening to this.
Well, I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not going to be one of them. I do.
Nice.
I sometimes eat chicken. I think, oh, it's okay, or eat fish, and then I was eating eggs now and again, and I actually saw on TV someone was talking about free range, and I thought, oh, these chickens running around happily, but free range. I mean, they're still treated like shit. They really are. I mean, and then I just came off animal products altogether and felt a lot cleaner. You do feel cleaner, don't you?
It is an incredible difference in experiencing yourself as just a healthy and pure being. The moment you eat this crap, you're full of torture energies. You're full of hormones created by suffering. Who wants to suffer? We're doing this to ourselves as long as we do it. Nobody else is forcing us to digest and take in poisonous things.
Do you think it's right to lay off the dairy products, and because the animals are tortured to get things like milk? And
the best way to live from is just vegan, because even milk is not what we are supposed to drink. For little babies, yes, but I think age 3 we lose the ability to digest milk the way we're supposed to digest it, and from there on it's just covering the lower intestines with a layer that is prohibiting nutrients passing into the blood. So this is adding on to malnutrition in a way. So there's
Sorry. You were talking about black magic. I had someone on the show a while ago who did kind of magic rituals. A guy called Eric Coetting, who summons up demons and the Abrahamic demons, as he called them. Do you think, because I was toying with this, that the best way to counter, if our leaders are doing black magic on us constantly, should we all start getting stuck into doing magic, reversal magic back on them, do you think, or is that not the way to go?
I would advise everyone who calls himself an activist, who is taking the risk to be targeted. I would advise everyone of this sort to learn techniques to protect himself. It does not mean necessarily to reverse and fire back. This is possible, but you can also take an impulse, turn it back, and make the source of the evil turn into love and light. It's all about this white magic is about affirmations and sentences, and whoever is using affirmations decides what kind of firing he's sending back to the source of an attack. And we tend not to fire back in a destructive way, but to turn things into love and light, to once and for all get rid of the source of evil, because when it's healed and turned into something more beautiful, it will stop being evil. And this definitely helps to survive. What I think everybody can do or should do is to take responsibility for the emotional morphogenetics, because this is the realm that is basically utilized by the dark agenda to manipulate history. You can see this clearly in modern warfare. If you look at Syria was planned to be drowned in civil war a century ago. The problem with Syria was that actually Syria was an extremely multicultural and peaceful country, and there was no potential for civil war and unrest. And what they needed to do is take 2 million Iraqi refugees with their personal trauma energies and send them as refugees into Syria to get the critical mass of trauma into the system to be able to kickstart a civil war in Syria. Now they're doing the same thing with Europe. They take all these traumatized refugees, especially George Soros is collecting them all over the world, sending these people to Europe to kind of poison the collective consciousness of Europe with trauma energies, because trauma has the tendency to restage itself. And this is what they're trying at the moment. And we can keep our collective field clean and peaceful if we take care of it, which means consciously connecting with it. This is, again, the same technique like you clear your own subconsciousness. You pull yourself into the heart position and then you decide, I feel the collective consciousness. I feel the soul of my country. And what happens then is that you do feel it. This comes automatically, like an impulse. You dive into the sea of emotions, and then you realize actually how the average of your people in your country feel. And if you have all these tortured and traumatized refugees among your people, you will feel their pain as well, sticking out like a scream out of this collective field. And then you can say, I take in this pain and dissolve it, which means pull it into your heart and then let it kind of disappear into the heaven, into the sky, by consciously pulling it in and letting it go. And this is a very beautiful way to clear a field from destructive energies, from destructive emotions. And this is how we can cross the plans of George Soros and those who want to kickstart World War III. Because it does not happen if the emotional field is peaceful. Then they might ignite an event here or an event there, but it will never light a fire that is spreading. And this is something I think everyone is responsible, again, in the sense of has the ability to respond, which is bringing us into real responsibility to take care of these fields, because I'm sure nobody wants this fucking stupid World War III. Nobody feels like having mountains of dead neighbors piled up in the street.
Please, let's not have any F words because we're on radio, FCC.
Sorry, Patrick.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. I know I often do it. It's hard. It's hard when you're talking about something emotional. I know Germany has so many refugees at the moment. It's feeling, I mean, I haven't seen any here in England, but Germany got most of them, really. I mean, I feel sorry for Germany, really.
It's okay. On a higher level, it is okay because we created ISIS. We created the Islamic State. This is all Western intelligence. And we send these people murdering hundreds of thousands of people in Syria, and we don't give a shit about it. And this is not okay. So now these crappy people come to our place to show us what we created. Yes. This is painful, but this is okay. So what we need to do is understand that we created this, that we are responsible for this. And now it comes to knock on our door to show our creation to the Creator. And this is okay. It needs to happen. It needs to happen, and it needs to be painful to the point where we understand what we did and we reverse it. By removing the governments that created this, by removing the corporate entities who created this, by sending people like George Soros to jail for what he did. But nobody's even thinking about these possibilities. We're thinking about the next TV series in the evening and are completely occupied by daily addictions, games and bread.
That's true. I'm completely guilty myself. I was thinking about what's going to happen on Celebrity Big Brother, and then in the morning I get up and I go on Facebook, and you kind of, I know, I don't like myself doing that, you know? I mean, we should just go and meditate somewhere and get connected up to more important things before you just do robot fashion, try and feel better, you know?
Yes. The things that are happening here at the moment, this is serious. We cannot afford to sleep over this, or to be unconscious about what's happening. And it's not a question whether we make it or not. The only question that I can see, and where I do not have the answer yet, is how ugly must it get before we wake up? This is the only open question. I know we're going to wake up. There's no doubt about it. It's already in the fields. If you travel morphogenetic fields, it's like diving into something that is both rooted into the past and rooting into the future. And the moment you kind of leave the material world and go into the morphogenetics or into the astral realm, you get a feeling for unfolding realities. And everybody I know who is familiar with traveling this realm says actually the light side already has won. But this still needs to materialize, and nobody knows how ugly this materialization will look like. And at the moment, I see people mainly sleeping. And they need a wake-up call. And the wake-up call is not going to be soft.
Exactly. What do you think? I mean, these beings, you were talking about the different bloodlines that are in control, without naming them, we all know who they are. But is it demons above us that are sort of trying to take us over, trying to take over the place? Or is it reptilians, or are they the same thing? And then I'm confused about Draco reptilians and normal reptilians. We're told that they're good guys, or what's happening with all that?
This is very much thought and spoken from the gaming level.
Right.
Because we're trying to focus who is my enemy.
Yes.
Which in a way does make sense. In another way, it doesn't make too much sense. What I can say is that the demonic agenda.
Oh, Harold, we're just going to have a 3-minute break. So if you want to grab a coffee and go on mute, we'll come back to you in 3 minutes.
Okay. See you then.
Hang fast.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi, it's Christine Joanna Hart back, and it's Valkyries on Revolution Radio. Wow, I sound a bit echoey. And I'm speaking from London tonight, and it's 8:00. And my guest is Harald Kautz-Vella, and he is in Berlin, in Germany. So that's quite exciting, and I'll welcome him back on the show. Harald, are you still there?
I'm still with you, yes.
Excellent. Oh, hang on. What was that? Somebody sent me a message. So I, oh no, okay. I haven't got an echo. Thanks, Patrick. And we got Patrick English who's producing, and thank you very much, Patrick. So we were talking, you said, I was asking about the enemy and the face of the enemy, which I, for one, I do like to get my enemy marked out, because I tend to be quite warish, so I like to know who to hate on. But
no, it's not about hate. What appears mostly on daily level, if you go to the astral realm, actually the astral realm looks like the real reality in the film Matrix.
Right. I do go there. It tends to be it's all mixed up. Well, it's not. I mean, one night you can be in having a certain experience, and the next night you can have another experience. I suppose I don't feel that I can travel there and just have an experience that I want to have. I rather feel like it happens to me, you know, when I'm there.
Actually, the astral realm is, in a way, a creation of fantasy. And we do have this individual part. So you can go into the astral realms and fight your own demons, because you create them to face them over there. But there is also a collective aspect that is kind of a second layer of reality that is defining the future outcome of things. So kind of the measuring of forces is happening in the astral realm. And there the fight is won or lost. And then after a while, reality manifests. And this is because the astral realm is not so fixed to the timeline like our material reality is. So if you go onto this astral realm, we do have kind of network administrators that look like spider demons. And this is actually the demonic race humanity is dealing with for thousands of years. We know them as Gog and Magog from very early times. And they are the counterpart in all black magic communication. Those are the demons the black magician is dealing with. They are giving kind of the profit he is promised, making sure that he's successful in his material life. And in exchange, the black magic community is feeding these demons with energy. So this basically is the deal. They are energy parasites. They are depending on communicating and dealing with humans. And they always find enough egoistic people who make a deal for their personal profit, feeding them. And I got first in contact with these creatures for the first time when I got into conflict with Freemasons. Which meant like getting in conflict. At a certain point, they decided I'm too dangerous for them. So they decided to shoot one of these parasitic spider demons into my system. The first attack failed. The second one was better planned and succeeded. And then I had to deal with a spider crawling within my body for 3 to 4 weeks until I found out how to kind of drive them out with love energy, because these spiders, they're binary. If you face them with love, it's a rather trinary energetic system, and it is destroying their energetic patterns, and they need to leave the system. If they don't leave, they die. So there is something that we all can do if we are in contact with these beings. Love is driving them away. But I didn't know at that time, so it took me like 3 weeks to get rid of this thing. And this really felt ugly for the 3 weeks. You have an entity within your body that is not you, that is moving on 8 legs and is doing creepy things with your inner organs. I still don't know what damage this thing caused within me. So that was the first time when I got in contact with this with demonic entities, just by messing around with Freemasons. And
how were you messing around with them? Were you attacking them in some kind of way?
The first incident was funny. I was selling books in a used bookshop. And a customer came up to me and asked me if he can find literature about Freemasons. And I was kind of funny in these days. I asked him, what kind of literature do you want to read? The things that they want people to believe about Freemasonry, Or do you want to read books where it's written what they really do on this planet? And he got kind of a little bit upset with my answer. And then he said, actually, I am running the library in the Freemasons' house here in the district. And I want to have everything on Masonry that I can get. And then I said, actually, once you're here, I've got a question. You know, I've been dealing with free energy for quite a while, and I know that all the people who try to market free energy and bring it out on the streets, they have accidents, they die, they're killed, whatever happens to them. And I just decided to ask him whether private utilization of these techniques, like if somebody is doing this in secrecy at home, if these people are killed as well or not. I was kind of provocative in these days because I knew he must know. And then at first hand, he kind of said, oh, no, this is stories you hear here and there. This is just stories. Free energy doesn't exist. I told him, you do not need to consider me being a fool. I've been working in these labs and I know the technologies and I know the people developing them. And then he said, okay. Actually, what would you do if you control a market and you know that there are possibilities around that would completely destroy the market? Would you let them survive? And then it became a little bit funny because he knew that he's not allowed to officially state things, and I was kind of cornering him a little bit with questions. And at a certain point, I cornered him too much. And then he decided to attack. That was the first time. And the second time was when I first published about the demonic aspect of the Morgellons disease. It was a medical conference in South Germany. And I did like half a year of research on the Morgellon disease. And we had to realize, because this aspect of delusional parasitosis is part of the disease, which is also like spider-like beings crawling around in the body of the Morgellon victims. And then we had, scientifically, we had to admit or to realize, or we had the possibility to learn that actually the fruiting bodies are the embryos giving birth to new baby demons. So this is the way. They do not have biology of their own. They're not incarnated anywhere, so they use mushrooms to multiply their genetic blueprint. And this is what the Morgellons disease is about. And I just decided to publish this on a medical conference in South Germany. And after I finished my lecture, I again was addressed by one of these gray-skinned Freemasons who decided to fire one of the grown-up demons into my system. And that was the one that managed to enter and gave me some trouble for a while.
What was your reaction to Max Spear's death? Because he said that Michael Aquino, who's a black magician, was attacking him and was giving him headaches just a few days really before he died. Do you think that he was destroyed by one of these people?
I have no details about his death. I felt sorry when I heard it, of course, because I met him in England last year, and I have some kind of story with Sarah Adams, and he was her boyfriend for a while, so I felt close to him. And of course, if like my grandma said, if the impacts are coming closer, it's a kind of irritating. I do not have any details, so I cannot even tell whether the official story that it was drug abuse is true or not. The only thing that I can say when we talk about super soldiers, that actually this is extended, highly developed knowledge derived from witchcraft. What the witches did was basically torturing themselves or parts of themselves out of their own body to be able to continuously have a split within the astral realm.
To have a what on the astral, sorry?
To have a split of your personality hovering within the astral realm. This is what witchcraft is about. The traditional European one. And this has, yes, and this has been perfectionized, do you say that? In the MK Ultra program. So the MK...
Yeah. What good it is, I can't say it, what good is it to have a part of you hovering in the astral?
You can scare people to death. You can cause them pain. You can force people to let themselves being controlled. It can be extremely painful if you this is the traditional purpose, to be able to kind of infiltrate other people and act from outside the body by going into other people's bodies or by giving them pain or by scaring them or whatever. This is the traditional form. And the sophisticated one was just developed by MK Ultra, where they start this procedure with little children, torturing them so heavily that they create a fully educated, controlled second personality that is only active on the astral realm. And this is what a super soldier concept is about. What we know from super soldiers is the half-destroyed empty shell. This is why they let these people go.
Why do they let them go?
Like I before I knew about the concept, I wondered, they take such a big effort to create super soldier, and then they're age 25, free and on the street. Why are they putting effort into torturing education for 15 years during childhood to then let them go? It didn't make sense. But if you understand that the split created is actually what they need and not the empty shell, then you understand that the empty shells run around, tell about the sad story of their life, and think that they are white, because the other part is not even within their reach anymore.
Right.
And especially when these people tell their sad story and appear as whistleblowers, it can be extremely dangerous for other whistleblowers or people that move on these conferences to fully emotionally open up to these people, because you never know what the split is doing. Even they don't know what their split is doing, because he's acting like a completely independent personality controlled by the dark agenda. So I was kind of completely fascinated by Sarah Adams at the beginning, because she told, out of her worldview, she told things that I found on the scientific level, and she could give me the full story, connecting dots, and this was extremely fruitful, and I was kind of keen on getting to know Sarah Adams. And on the other hand, there was the super soldier concept, and I was really afraid of meeting her, because I didn't know what would happen to me when I open up to her as a person and don't know what her split is doing. And this is why it is, on one hand, yes, these children have been victimized in an extreme form. They deserve healing, caring, love, and everything that a person deserves. On the other hand, they are not kind of projects given up by the dark agenda. The dark agenda is still running them, but not the physical body that we meet on the street.
What about soul retrieval? Can't they have their bits returned to them?
It is extremely difficult to make a split return if the split is educated into a controlled, powerful being, because it will not be ready to return out of free will, and it is too powerful to be forced to. So this can happen, of course. Healing is possible. Everything that falls apart can be put together again.
Mm.
But dealing with splits of this sort can be extremely challenging because they are powerful.
Mm. I know Russ Disdale talks about them quite a lot, doesn't he? Calls them satanic super soldiers, basically. He believes that there'll be an uprising at the end times, and they'll be called upon, triggered. Do you believe that, or no?
I don't know. I don't believe anything.
Mm.
I see possibilities. And yes, I read the prophecies about the end time wars, that this is going to be free humanity against demonized humanity. This is mainly within the Muslim tradition, or the Sufi tradition describing this quality of end time war. I see the possibilities that we get there if I see what is happening at the moment. On the other hand, I have a strong feeling that we already ran out of all prophecies. This is not happening in the way the prophecies are forecasting it. So something must have happened in between that has changed or kicked us onto a different timeline. And this is basically what timelines are about. Timelines are within the astral realm projecting possible realities. And when somebody is putting out a prophecy, he's talking about a possible timeline.
What about, you talking about these spider beings? What about Draco reptilians? Somebody was saying, what?
If somebody is giving a prophecy on World War III, it can be a dark prophecy because people start to fear a World War III, and then by fearing it, they create it. But it also can be a white prophecy where somebody is warning about an event coming up, and then people decide otherwise, and the event is not happening. And
somebody said that the World War II was a war between the Norse gods and the anti-gods. What do you think of the Norse gods being German yourself?
I haven't met them yet.
Do you believe
I'm far out, but on the other hand, I'm really grounded, and I tend to accept things or deal with things when I met them, when I experienced them, and I haven't met any northern gods yet. And I know that World War II was mainly Tavistock fabricated.
Right.
The German people didn't fight in the war for anything. They were from the beginning just fooled, nothing else. Fooled into self-destruction. Hitler was a Tavistock man. Hitler was a Rothschild descendant.
Yes. Why did he kill all the Jews? What was that about then? Or did he not do that and that's propaganda?
I'm going to jail if I speak out free and open onto this topic. I'm in Germany, I'm German. If I now say what I think, they come to get me tomorrow.
Really? Is it that bad in Germany?
If they listen to your show, yes. People go to jail for this.
Good Lord. I don't think it's like that here.
No, because you're not subject to this kind of history. What I can say is what is legal to say. Let's put it this way: is there was a strong bond between Zionism and fascism before World War II, and they had many points in common. And the most important point was driving all the available Jews to Palestine. Yeah, this is something we know from history. This is something that is legal to state. What is legal to state is that we had concentration camps in the Rheinwiesen after World War II, where 2 million captured German soldiers were starved to death. And what might be legal to say is that one of the techniques to punish Germans, mainly utilized by Americans, was to, the German term is Entnazifizierung, denazifying them with the same gas you use to kill these little parasites, which the story is telling that this was the way to kill people in Jewish inhabited concentration camps. So all the techniques and all the pictures that are in the heads today have been done to the German people after they lost the war as well. From there on, everyone can kind of calculate and think the way he wants to. What I know is that 3 million Jews arrived in Palestine due to the war. So this, whatever the Zionist opinion or idea or target or dream or whatever was, it became reality. What we do know is that the SS was a black magic community. They were extremely deep into black magic rituals. And what we know is that the political party NSDAP was a black magic community. And that they did all the ugly things that these black magicians do when they are in power. What we do know is that Hitler was educated by Tavistock. So basically he followed the Crown and Rothschild's agenda. And what we do know is that if he wanted to win World War II, he had a possibility in the first 2 months, just when he captured the entire British army in I think it was Belgium, and he just let them go. And there you can see whose agenda he actually was driving. So there are many things that I think need to be rewritten in history of World War II. And this take it earlier. You can go to World War I. This was about Germany becoming too strong in trade internationally. Yeah, and this was a pain in the ass for the French and the Brits. Yeah, and from there you can understand history.
What happened in is it Velversberg Castle? There's portals there. Have you ever been along to experience it, to feel the energy there?
I heard the name. I haven't been there. No.
You haven't?
No. I would rather be scared of coming too close to portals.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I hear you.
It's about the things on the other side.
I'd go along. Yeah, you're right. If I was in Germany, I'd go along to see what was going on. I think that was where the SS got up to all their dark stuff. It's supposed to be quite an interesting place. Probably it's not. Probably one would go along and it would just be a disused castle. But yeah. Again, that's listening to Russ Disdall. I listened to him too much. I think he went along there and prayed at the different parts of the castle. It's quite interesting. I wanted to talk about Draco reptilians. I think you mentioned them to someone, or you said you were a Draco reptilian. So one of my listeners wanted to know why you said it, or what you know about Draco reptilians and blah de blah.
I know hardly anything. I do have a good friend who had this funny experience about being turned into a Draco, full Draco, not Draco human, but full Draco, due to some shaman singing of somebody in Far East. And he just looked at me and he said, actually, you're one of us as well. This is the only input I got on this topic. Possible that I told that story before, but it doesn't play any role in my life. So
I see.
This is just, random.
I see.
What I do know from the stories I gathered, things I heard, is that some of the alien races that are around on this planet went through the same process we are going through now, and they failed. They failed in maintaining their triangular field structures, and they became binary, like demons. If you reduce yourself to mind and sexuality, you turn yourself into a predictable binary being that can be completely controlled from an AI field. So we do have species around that failed to resist against the transhumanistic or trans whatever agenda and were assimilated. And what I experienced, mostly we still do interact with spider demons, but it seems to be that certain bloodlines that are very deep into this binary agenda are also interwoven or interacting or partly transdimensionally identical with one of these assimilated species that we might call draconian. This is where I would place the topic.
Oh, right. I wonder why they look like reptilians. Have you got any edge on that? Or
different theories around. I don't know. I heard that there are reptilians that manage to mimicry, real reptilians that fool us stupid, undeveloped humans, making us believe that we are looking at a fellow human while we are actually looking at a reptilian. We do have some camera footage of these reptilians being in public and nobody realizes. Possible. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised of anything. We're living in a weird world. But I don't know. I don't know. As long as I haven't seen one with my own eyes, actually, I do not know. And what I really enjoyed is the Lacerta files. Interview with a reptilian lady somewhere in Scandinavia. Extreme, highly developed knowledge on basically everything. I was deep into new physics and deep into spirituality. And I could say from the Lacerta files, yes, 1/3 of what she states I know as being true, and 2/3 are completely new to me. I can just trust. So there are certain things around that are extremely promising, interesting, but actually, I don't know. Maybe it was just somebody who was so highly developed in science that nobody believed him anymore. And then he decided, okay, now I'm playing the reptilian to make people listen to what I have to say. Possible as well. I don't know, Many things we just don't know. And it doesn't say, if we don't know things, it doesn't say that we need to cancel them out. It's more like opening a realm of possibilities. And within this realm of possibilities, we can say, okay, this is more or less likely until we know. This is how you can work with these
Lacerta files. I have, my producers read them. Lacerta files, I haven't read them. Is it Laserta?
I think a C instead of an S.
Oh, right, okay. And that's what, a woman...
It's a reptilian woman stating that she is basically, her race has developed out of the Rex type dinosaur. Smaller in size, now having quite humanoid structures, like humanoid size, and also started to breastfeed. And they're living basically in cave systems underground and coming to the surface only to take a sunbath.
Only to what, sorry?
To take a sunbath.
I see. Why can't we see them?
Just Google for Lacerta files. There's even a drawing inside. She made these interviews with somebody who was living in a little hut somewhere in the forests, I think in Finland, or and she described herself to him how her race looks like.
Right,
Okay,
interesting.
we're getting input. It was California, Northern California, not Finland.
How interesting. So I just want to finish off the last half hour with your stuff. You talked a lot about your research into the black goo. Is I don't know much about that, and I don't know if you've kind of moved on since your original stuff. Is that the same stuff that, like on the film Prometheus, that was delivered here by the gods? Is that, I mean, excuse my ignorance on the subject.
This connects, yes. Although the knowledge, the films is based on, basically all the films dealing with these black goo-like substances, they take only the alien part as true. But if you look into hardcore science, you find that there are actually two different types of black goo on the planet. One is connected to the ley lines, building up the planetary consciousness, and the other type is connected to meteorite sites, where we can learn that there was a meteorite shower coming down onto our planet containing black goo oil schist from a different planet. And this alien black goo is very much connected to this binary consciousness that the demons are running on. So this basically is 100% beautifully displayed in the film Final Fantasy. Who wants to understand alien black goo, just watch Final Fantasy.
Oh, who is that, a new film out?
No, it's old. Final Fantasy is, I don't know, at least 10 years old.
I haven't heard of that at all. Is there any stars in it? So I don't want to get the wrong one. Who's in it, Harald?
I think it's how do you call that? It's not played by real characters. It is drawn like a comic, animated film.
Right. So this stuff is still here, and what's it going to do? Is it going to? I watched that film. There's another film. Was it called Lucy? It was that one with Scarlett Johansson, and it poured out. She
turns into black goo at the end, but it's not. Yeah. It's not kind of the core of the story. Exactly. Actually, the black goo, the alien black goo, was a huge problem for a few thousand years. It was connected. What they brought in was this alien black goo, which is kind of the liquid brain of a planet that went into self-destruction. And additionally to that, they pulled the planetary consciousness onto crystals. And this is the contents of the arcs. The Ark of the Covenant, the Irish Ark, and the Ark of Gabriel, and the box of the Pandora. It is the only one that has been opened. This is why we know what is inside. All the evil of the world. So we have kind of the bioenergy of a planet that went through self-destruction, plus the liquid brain of a planet that went into self-destruction. And it's exactly the same concept like they ran in Iraq, in Syria, by introducing traumatized people from Iraq, and in Europe by introducing traumatized people from Syria. You introduce traumatized planetary consciousness into a healthy system to kickstart the restaging of self-destruction. And this actually is what we know as duality. On one hand, the pain within this alien consciousness made us disconnect from the collective, because it was too painful to stay with the collective. If a being senses pain, he disconnects. Simple as that. And this was giving birth to free will. Because we lose orientation when we disconnect from the collective. We completely lose the plot, and we forget about our place in the creation, and we start to look for solutions coming from the mind, and this is giving birth to mind domination and to free will. And this is basically what happened first with the impact of these meteorites, and then with the opening of the box of the Pandora, giving another kick of torture energy and of traumatized energies into our biological system.
Where is the box of Pandora?
Just in the Greek mythology. But we know it's an ark because we have in the history books, we have a few notes about size, wood type, gold plating, everything. It is 100% identical with the ark. And then we have the Ark of the Covenant connected to the Jewish people. We have an Irish Ark that is positioned in London at the moment. And we have the Ark of Gabriel that was positioned in Mecca and had been removed last year by Russian forces to the Antarctica. Mainstream is not reporting about this. But when you know the three places where these arcs are, you understand world politics. Now just name the three sources of geopolitical evil on this planet. It used to be the city of London, poisoning United States with a bad intention, with the colonies destroying half of the world. We do have one arc in the vicinity of Israel, spreading fascism all over the planet since World War II, since coming into existence as a country. And we do have, or we had one arc in Mecca, and from there we have the spreading of the militant Islam. So the three major sources of evil are geographically connected to the position of these arcs. And this is about introduction of trauma energies into our collective consciousness. And at least in England, we can say how it is done. If you know the position of the arc, it is surrounded by underground antenna systems that have both a binary spiral and a four-leaf cloverleaf structure. So this is binary and 90-degree angles, displaying exactly the energetic system connected to the control agenda, connected to the archontic demonic biology. And this is sitting in the center of one underground antenna system. And there are about 200 of these underground antenna systems spread all over Britain. And they resonate as antennas. And in the middle of one of them, we have the arc. So the entire country is poisoned with trauma energy.
So what do we do against that? I mean, we're just bombarded with that energy constantly.
If you bombard it, you destroy the crystal and the energy is released. Then goodbye, Brittany. I would shoot it into open space. Shoot it into the sun, poor sun. I don't know where to get this amount of trauma energy. I've got no clue. I even cannot tell where it is, although I know because at the moment there's nobody around that is conscious and responsible enough to deal with these topics. I hope the Russians do a good job. If they do so, please give me a call, KGB, Mr. Putin, give me a call and we might negotiate and tell you how to get the other thing under control or out of the game. Because this is what is basically messing up the planet since thousands of years. And, if you know the source of evil, remove it. Simple as that. But I don't see this happening for now. It's not, if you look into, I wouldn't know whom to trust with this. I've got no clue. I think this is going to be solved within the next generation.
I know it's hard, isn't it? You just kind of sit back and what do we do individually? I mean, what can we start doing individually? As you were saying at the start of the program, I suppose, going back full circle to clean our own energy.
I mean, the core idea is to take responsibility. And for this, we need to know about our abilities, and then when we know our abilities, we can respond. This is the core, and it can differ from person to person, or from being to being. What is within his responsibility? There's nothing that everybody should do except of becoming aware of himself. Everybody can pull his higher self into his body. Everybody can cleanse out his subconsciousness and become fully conscious. Everybody can become empathic. And then it very much depends on the age of a being, how much capacities he has. Maybe there's somebody who is responsible for a family. Maybe there's somebody who is responsible for a village. Maybe there's somebody that is responsible for a town or for a country or for the entire planet. We do not know how the roles are distributed. And this is about emotional capacity. Maybe there's a person that wakes up next week that has the capacity to completely pacify the civil war field of Europe because he is big enough to swallow and digest and dissolve it. And then suddenly everything is peaceful, and the planners of World War III just sit there and scratch their heads because they do not know what happened. I don't know how history evolves, but I know that people need to wake up to their possibilities. And this is the only thing that can happen. And everybody is waiting for the solution to pop up somewhere else. Yeah, but this is not the solution. The solution is that the solution is brought into life by the one that brings it into life and not somewhere else. And this is possible to an extent with everyone. We are not helpless. We are not victims unless we feel comfortable in the role. And this is what needs to happen. And this is, on one hand, it is hard work. On one hand, it is painful. On one hand, it is scary because you lose family and friends if you do so, if they are not willing to do so as well. On the other hand, it is the only right thing to do. On the other hand, it is the only thing that brings you friends that are real friends. It is the only thing that brings meaning into your life. Because everything else is being a stupid puppet. Yeah, so there's for me, there's no question whether I want to wake up or not, whether I face truth or not. There's no question because there's no alternative from my point of view. And this is something everyone can like go to for 20 seconds after the show and then forget about it because it's more comfortable to not think about possibilities. Or people might wake up tomorrow morning and say, here we go. No, I'm not going to distort myself by the tools given by society to distort myself. I'm not watching movies anymore to only feel unreal emotions. There's so, people go to the movies to finally feel something again. There is stuff to feel on this planet. My first advice, if you manage to rediscover your empathic abilities, go out there and say, I feel Mother Earth's pain. And this pain will wipe you away for a day or two until you will be able to handle it, because this is what we do to this planet. And it is our responsibility to go through this pain because we caused it. And this needs to be done, because at the moment she's carrying all the crap for us. And it's not fair. She's a being. She has consciousness. And we fuck around with her. Yeah. And this is something that is within our responsibility, and we should do so. So this is my advice. Take things a little bit serious, because they are serious. Okay, I'm getting comments on my language.
I know, it's hard. I do it all the time. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Don't worry. It was really interesting having you on. Where can we, have you got a website with all your ideas written on, so we can go there and sort of study it? And, I'm interested in all the stuff that you've been saying, and I just want to read more about it. And where can I go?
The spiritual things are just in the spoken word, because this is very much about inspiration, and it doesn't make sense to bring it into print.
Oh, okay.
I do have a website that is dealing with the medical aspects of how to get out of the medical trap of turning our body into a transhumanistic trap. And there we describe the concepts. We are not allowed to put out the remedies we developed out there, because then we are talking about health issues, and we do not have the financial power to bring out medicine to the market. So this is kind of all about nutrition officially, and detoxing, nutrition, and information medicine, and somebody else is trading this stuff. So it's a little bit difficult to get through. You can read the theory on time loop solution and ask me personally for who is supplying this per email.
Excellent. So it's timeloopsolution.com, everybody. And that's how it sounds. Brilliant. So, and also it's got your email on there where people can get hold of you. You're not on Facebook very much, are you? Is that because it's got a strong negative charge, so you stay off?
No, it's because I do not have time for Facebook.
Right.
I would love to, be with the community, but once I go online there, I have like 25 questions to answer per minute.
Yeah.
And I cannot handle it. So if I start answering one question, everybody else thinks I'm not fair because I'm not answering theirs.
Sure.
So Facebook is for me just to put out information mainly, and just by looking into it, how the mood of the people is. Sometimes I need feedback from the people to realize actually where they stand, and then I go to Facebook and see what the other ones are posting.
I think people have been missing you definitely out there. So I'd like to read more about the arcs you were talking about. Where can I find out about them?
The thing with Mecca and Russia bringing it to the Antarctica, it has been published.
Right.
You can find it if you Google Ark of Gabriel, Russia and Antarctica. Then you will find the newest input on that story. The other one I cannot openly speak about. One has been found in the Middle East, close to Israel. I cannot say where, because then people get into serious trouble. And the other one in London, it's kind of the same. It's sitting there. The people connected to it actually wanted to open it, which would have been a disaster.
And can I Google that? Can I look up the one in
No,
London?
you will not find them. They are descendants from the Egyptian, Irish, pharaonic bloodline.
Okay.
And yeah, actually, I don't know actually where they stand at the moment. I was in contact with them for a while. They tried to convince me to join in opening one, saying that actually I'm the fifth person they've been looking for ages to do so. No clue why.
Oh, right. Who was this? Who was this?
I cannot put names into public. Sorry.
Okay. Sure.
And yeah, we did not communicate. I refused at a certain point to join in. I told them that this is not an Ark, but a box of the Pandora. They did not relate to my input in any way. I hope they didn't open it. I think they didn't open it because they needed somebody else to join in. And it was very much connected to the Blue Avian agenda.
Oh, right.
You know, the Blue Avian ETs wanted to make the transport. And they are very much connected to the Israeli agenda as well. I mean, not the one of nowadays, but if you look into the biblical context of the history of the Israeli Ark, also having bird-like creatures on top as decoration. So we seem to have an alien race that basically is administrating the position and the plans with these arcs on this planet. Being, especially if you look into the Blue Avians, they also mess around with the New Age agenda, kind of promising us a beautiful future if we follow New Age, which is the new world religion of the satanic or demonic groups of interest or of the demonic agenda. So if you very carefully look into this Blue Avian communication, you beautifully can see the machine spirit within them. Even the internet presentations, they are all spoken with computer machines. Like their spirit is pretty obviously binary.
Is that the artificial intelligence? That's
yes.
Is that linked to the black goo?
This is a species that is assimilated, and whoever wants to stay human should have a look at the Blue Avians and ask himself if he wants to become a robot of this type, or if he wants to be emotional instead. And sorry, I for myself, I prefer to be emotional. This is why I say the F word from time to time.
Me too. I'm very emotional. It's all over the place. Oh gosh, I've really enjoyed having you on. We've got just 5 minutes left. I'm sure the music will stop playing over my voice, so I'm just going to thank you before it does start coming up. It's been great to talk to you. I mean, I really enjoyed everything you've done, and I like listening to it. So it's great to have you on, and I'm sure all my listeners will just lap it up like little kittens with cream. You're great. You should be more out there, more talking. Maybe do some, where you sit in front of a camera and talk. I'm sure all of us will just be over the moon at that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I prefer like full interviews with the video line as well.
Good idea.
So if you happen to be, or if one of you happens to be in the Berlin area, just say hello. Or next time I'm in England, in London, I might say hello.
Excellent. Yes, come and meet me and we'll do something on a video thing. That's a really good idea. I'm going to get a camera, actually. I'm going to buy one in a few weeks. So excellent. Next time you're over, we'll meet up and we'll do some filming. Brilliant. Okay. And then put it out there. I don't get over to Germany much. I've never been there before. So I'm sure it's lovely. Are you having a good summer there or same as us? Not at all.
What weather? The weather was kind of okay this year. Just the mood on the streets is strange these days.
I bet.
We had to flee. We had to flee from Berlin. We're living on the countryside now. That's a quiet place to stay.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm glad you're out there in the country, and it was fascinating speaking to you. I can hear the music now, and I'm going to keep in touch with you, Harald. And thanks very much for coming on, and thanks very much for thank you.
Sure. Thank you both.
And thank you, Patrick English, for producing Patrick over there in America.
Okay, dear, no problem.
and monitoring all of us with our bad language, all our naughty Europeans.
Nice to meet you, Harold. See y'all.
This is Christine Hart.
Have a great evening.
Please find me on Facebook. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.